my lovely Charmaine, and we're just connecting, and we're talking about how do we click into a more feminine energy and help ourselves to come into that cleaner, clearer space of choosing. So now, Charmaine, you just said, I want to back up for 1 minute, that you found yourself in so many situations that really weren't your choice. So you feeling like that perhaps something needs to change, and then you said you made a change within you. So just go back and tell us that, because that's what you just said about the steps, that part.
So what I was doing was, in my environment, I was focusing on each little step I was taking.
Yes.
And how do I fix myself? How do I change myself in those little steps? Instead of looking at the big picture and what is it for myself that I'm looking for. And
Fantastic.
in that, I discovered that it's the freedom I'm looking for. And
Beautiful.
rather to focus on that side as opposed to each little step I'm taking to try and fix myself.
Oh, that is so brilliant. Okay, now you stumbled across a little secret of genius there, because when you decided to stop breaking it up into its little pieces, and because when we break things up into little pieces, it's so that we can manage it, so that we can organize it, so that we can plan it, so that we know where we're going and it's predictable and it's known to us. We make it very limited and very constrained, because we have these parameters or these boundaries. It needs to look like this so that I can be happy,
Mm.
so that I can be comfortable, and everyone else must behave in a certain way so that I can feel more at home in this space. And each of those little spaces then can start feeling like hurdles that you have to go over, because that thinking is very much the planning, organizing, masculine energy thinking. And it's the masculine energy, the right side of the body, but it's the left brain because it crosses over, as we know. So that left brain, I must, I should, I have to activate, I have to pursue, I have to do, I have to make it right. Very, very structured left brain place. And when we set up a scenario for imbalance like that, then right away we're going to be experiencing imbalance, which you know about.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, that's exactly. And with your little clip that you gave, it was beautiful because that explained it exactly where I found myself.
Yeah,
And I'm setting it up in my journey exactly like that because that feels comfortable to me because that's
yes,
what I know.
that's right.
That's not what I want for me.
There you go. That's right. It's not what we choose, and it's what we're
Mm.
setting up so that we can assume that we're comfortable, assume that it's stable. And it's like a little cover story. It's like a little box that this is the way it must be in this box. And then I will feel comfortable, I'll feel safe, I'll feel predictable, and the space is predictable. There's great comfort in that, but there's no growth in that, and it's a very stagnant place. And if you are a creative being, which we all are, because we are the very breath of the divine, which is creative, then that being in that space is not fun for us. That's absolutely no fun for us. So what we want to do then is we want to be able to switch across to more to the feminine side of the brain. That was your question. How do we,
Correct.
yeah, redirect this beautiful being?
And without the drama and the fuss and making it so difficult for ourselves.
Yes.
I mean, I know for myself, I can talk for myself.
Mhm.
I go and look for all these different tools and hey, then I like give up and I say, oh no, this is too difficult. Let's go back to be normal.
Yes.
Normal.
Normal, exactly. And then there is a part of you that's telling you truth right there. The part of you that is your divine creative being is saying, but the answer is within. You've got the answer. That little
Mm.
statement that I heard such a long ago, where it says, I am, and we say that about ourselves, I am divinely and uniquely encoded within for the magnificence of this life journey, which means that all of our coding, all of our stuff, it's here within us. We don't even have to go out there to seek it, because we know, and nobody on this planet can tell us how to do our life, because it's not theirs. And they cannot see from this perspective that we have. We have the inside view and they have the outside view. And when we come into the inside view of our being and then we balance it with our left and our right, our masculine and our feminine, oh my goodness, then we really motivate ourselves through this pathway, no matter how it looks, in a different way.
And I think very recently, something I've listened to from you as well has said exactly that about the balancing.
Yes.
And I think that's where because yesterday I was with you in a session and you spoke about what am I radiating?
Mm.
And instantly what came up for me was frustration and irritation.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, but that's not who I am.
No, it's
And
not.
no. And I'm finding myself in a space that keeps me locked in that irritation and frustration.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, how do I easily snap out of that to get into my creative being?
Okay. So that's a really good place to go to. So now, contrast reveals truth. So the more we're in those spaces that say, ooh, I don't like it, I don't want to be here, the more it's telling us, awakening our heart to say, what is it that I desire? The problem is that we got one little block, a little boulder that was thrown into that river that says, oh, but you've got to suffer to be beautiful. You don't deserve that right now. You've got to work really, really, really hard, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll get a little crumb of gratitude or a little crumb of satisfaction. It's a system and a coding that's been passed down to us in the story of survival and in the story of suffering. So that's all it is. So that's the little block, that we don't believe that we can give it to ourselves because that block is in the way. So how do we take that block out? If you were to go, okay, this is a path, and there's this great big boulder in the path, and this boulder's got the story of our human must suffer to deserve, suffer to know you're alive, and we take that boulder out, then what do? How do we recode ourselves? The most wonderful way to recode this system is to go directly to the operating system. And what is the operating system? It's our five senses.
Yeah.
Five senses are operating this system right now. We look with all our eyeballs towards what is going to be frightening, intimidating, scary for us, so we can protect, shield, defend, deflect, destroy, detach, deny, whatever those things are to protect ourselves. We use our sense of hearing to listen out, lie in bed at night, think, oh my gosh, did I hear a stone coming through the window? Did I hear a key in a latch? And we're lying there, we're listening with this vigilance terror. So that's running our whole terrorized system. And then we use our taste and touch and smell. All of these things are encoded through all time of our survival, because that's been the system that we have chosen to be in, because this human being just wants to survive at any and every cost. It must survive. So when we relinquish that system and we say, I don't have to survive, and then listen to what your whole being goes like, I can't not survive. Are you crazy? I must survive. I'm here. I'll do everything I can. Take a brand new baby out the womb and give it a little stick to hold on to, and it will hold for all its life, and you can lift that off the ground and it'll still be holding on. It'll clutch and cling on to its life. That coding is what is causing the great dilemma, the great problem. But it is so deeply instilled in us, and we have now realized that if we continue just trying to survive, we are not going to survive. The greed, the hate, the manipulation, the fear, the stories, all the prejudice, all the stories of our human existence is all around survival. So then we say to ourselves, I'm not going to survive. I'm not going to survive like this, and I'm not going to survive under this story. Mm-hmm. But there is another option. I wish to thrive through the energy of my heart and my soul. And we don't know that other option is even there because we've not considered it as an option until now. It's never been an option until now. If you just look back at our great grandparents, how hard it was for them to survive. You made your bed, you lie in it. Suffer to be beautiful. It's your life, you better live it. Pull up your socks, my girl. It's all of this kind of life enduring suffering hardship. So how do we play with this? We bypass the system. First by saying, I'm not here to survive in the same organizing structure that is encoded for survival. I'm not going to do that. I'm here to flourish and to thrive. And we start to open up with that idea. And then we hop on to the 5 connections to that system, our sensory being. And when we hop on there, we start to play with our visual. You just take 1 a week and you go like this. Okay, so here's my eyesight, and up to now I've been like checking out what's going to be in danger for me and what's wrong and how can I fix it. That's what I've been doing. Now I just start to recode my vision and the way my brain receives what I'm giving it as vision. I reprogram my thinking towards what I'm seeing, and I start to say that whatever I see is for my delight. That will switch on my divine light. It will make me see this life as delightful, full of the divine light, delightful. And we start recoding all our senses to what delights us, to what is delightful to behold, and what fills us with this feeling that there is delight in the world. And we start to restructure the brain. That is right with us all the time. We've got endless things to look at, to smell, to taste, to touch, to feel, to hear, all right here. That's the way we're going to do it. I can't wait for us all to play with that idea.
It is, while you were saying it, I was envisioning the delightful. And I have a beautiful journey that I drive from home to work every day. And everything I see is delightful. So it will be very easy for me to see the delight every single morning.
Every morning. And then you arrive there already filled up with that way of seeing the world. And you cannot see the things. You're not seeking the things that are awful and, oh my gosh, is it going to be like that? Because you could equally drive to work filled with trepidation and anxiety and depression. I can't go and do that again. Because if you're saying that, if you can't do this again, like I don't want to do this, and I'm always seeing that, if you want to see it, that's what you're going to see. If you don't want to see it, you will not see it. Those who will see, and those who will hear, and equally we can choose what we will see and what we will hear. So if we are looking out for the thing that we think is going to horrify us and be awful and something we have to protect ourselves against, then that is what we will find. It's like a stream, like a magnetic field. So if you're going in, oh my gosh, I hope that person's not grumpy because I don't know what I'm going to do, you're really defending yourself. When you're defending and protecting your energy and pulling it in close, you're not radiating your energy light. When you go in, you're really looking like a little dog that's quivering that needs to be kicked, and you're probably going to get kicked. It's a wicked story, isn't it? But that's the way it works.
And it's that, I want to say it's that fragile.
Yeah.
Because it really is. You know, you can easily get sucked into the 3-dimensional all the time, especially if you're in that kind of environment. Without the awareness, you're just going to plod along.
Exactly. Always. And it's just going to be endless.
Yes. And that's why I was asking about a simple tool to switch from that, the do,
yes,
and the creative feminine side. Is there something simple that I could do to keep me grounded in that?
Those 5 senses, bypassing with the 5 senses, that's your best tool. It's all it is in awareness. Just go, okay, what am I seeing through? Am I seeing through the lens? Am I listening? Am I feeling through the lens, through the awareness of this or that? And you just keep steering yourself towards what it is that is truth for you. What is it that I wish to feel? That creates the field that draws you into the field that you are creating with your light.
It's beautiful. That's a beautiful tool. And
It's
it's
such a
very,
good tool.
oh, and it's really something I feel I can easily do without the performance and
Yeah.
without the drama and having to read a script. You see, that's my big thing because
Yes.
everything's scripted and
Yeah.
I've got to read it because I can't remember it. And it's leaving me stuck in my mind the whole time, which is my
Yes.
left side.
That's right. We just get out the left, jump into your creative side. Your creative side is so creative, like when you're driving to work and you see all the beauty around you, you're totally connecting to your creativity. And you'll know that you're in that right side of your brain, your creative right side, left side of your body. Feminine is on your left side of your body. Right side of the brain is creative thought. You'll know that you're in that space if you are driving to work and you almost feel like, oh my gosh, I got here so quickly. It's not a hard journey, it's like no time.
And that's actually quite profound that you say that, Joy, because I travel 50 kilometers to work. It takes me half an hour. And everybody says, oh, you drive so far. And I'm like, no, it's not so far. It's not at all. And
That's
nobody
right.
understands that. So that's
And
awesome for that. Yes.
that's what you're
That's
doing.
beautiful.
Absolutely. Then you know you're on your right side of your brain, you're in your creative aspect. And when we're there, it doesn't stop when you stop the car and feel like this is the place it stops and now I go into to face what I have to face. You just see it almost like a flashlight that you light up at the center of your being and you are illuminating your path in front of you. You got this beautiful energy that you've been generating over the 50 kilometers, and that energy, and you step out your car and you just beam that energy towards where you're going to go, where your office is or where you're going to be settling down just for the early morning part or whatever that is. Just beam it in there and see all the people in there in this radiant sunlight, a radiant light, and you just walk into it and you just be light. There's no doing, you don't say a word, you don't have to be all chippy cheerful and pretend, you don't have to do anything. You just walk in and be holding your energy. Irresistible.
That's beautiful. And I really can work with that. And then you've also said something very recently where you were like, don't go in with all your energy trying to elevate everybody else that is wanting to bring you down.
Yes.
And that has been also something that, and I think I've listened to that over this weekend.
Yeah.
So that is also something I can take exactly with what you've just said now and bring the
Yes.
two together.
Yeah. Have your energy. Just look after you. Look out for you. And it might sound selfish, and we've been told we're selfish. Oh,
No.
stop just looking out for you. But honestly, this is a kindness. It's such a deep kindness to self. When we take care of self, then we're so much better for everybody else and ourselves, and we generate our energy in a different way. That self-care is so important, and it's not your job to make someone feel better or think in a different way. It's not your job. That you know what your job is, to make your being come up into a higher frequency, a higher expression of being. That's your job, and that's all you do. You just find ways to just keep connecting to that, even though, and you say those words, even though there's crazy, even though there's miserable, even though there's grumpy pants sitting at the next desk next to me, it doesn't matter. Even though, unconditional connection to life, unconditional. My happiness, my well-being, my sense of being on time and on purpose has got nothing to do with anybody or anything else around me. How about that?
Gorgeous. That is gorgeous because I'm a big, yeah, it's my biggest, I want to say challenge
Yeah.
because I allow the lower frequency to pull me down very easily. So through that, I think it's beautiful that I've elevated it, but
Yes,
keep it for myself.
exactly. And why do you think your energy drops down, my darling Charmaine?
Because I'm open to, because, okay, so I'm open to feeling everybody else around me.
Yes,
And because I'm looking to them to elevate them, And it's pulling me down to where they at,
Yes.
because I'm not standing in my truth of who I am.
Exactly. And
Is
because you
that?
care. Yes, it is a part of that. Part of it's that. And the biggest part of it is because you care. You care about other people's hearts and their
Yeah,
souls and their well-being.
absolutely. And for me, it's that thing of, okay, if that's how you're feeling, we've got something in common, so let me meet you there so
Mm-hmm.
that you feel better.
Yes. Yes. It's so true. It's the wishing the best for all beings.
Yes.
Wishing the best for all beings. And then there's a sense of ownership. So then I must bring that for you. I must help you get there. I must do that work. And that's not the truth. Just stay in your own space and just be light. That's the best way to help someone who's feeling overwhelmed or in a very dark or heavy space. Just hold the space. Don't do. Doing is the masculine activating. Being is the feminine, the connected, the beautiful energy of intuition and guidance.
Love that.
I
And
love
I
it
love
too.
our time together. That's been the most helpful, useful thing that I can take with me.
I'm
So
so
thank
glad.
you.
Oh, such a pleasure, my darling. I so appreciate you just asking the questions, Charmaine, because then we can just unpack them a little bit. And believe me, what you're feeling is what people are feeling. We're not alone, and it's a shared knowing. And when we just pretend that we're okay, it's the worst thing we can do to each other because we don't see the value of the place of pain for us. The pain points are growth points, and
Mm.
that brings us into an awareness.
So exactly what you've just said there. And I must say to you, when after the yesterday, I don't want to take up too much more time, but the radiating yourself, I kept looking for what is the opposite of irritation and frustration. And because I couldn't find it, I gave up on it. And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, how do I work through this irritation and frustration? Because I don't know what the opposite is.
Oh. So ask your heart. You're asking your head.
Yes,
How does it
yes.
feel in my heart to not be irritated and frustrated?
Well, what came up for me yesterday then is to say the peace within me will illuminate
Yes.
and help me through this, where it softens what the other person is going through.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And if you can be it and hold it, you
Mm,
can radiate it. That is more
mm,
helpful to anyone, anywhere, at any time.
absolutely. No, absolutely.
So wonderful.
Thank you,
What
Joy.
a journey.
Oh,
Oh, I love chatting
isn't
to you,
it
my
just?
darling. Just
It was
amazing
beautiful
journey.
chatting to you. Thank you. Thank you for your presence and your gift to
Thank
the
you,
world and
Cuban.
to me.
Oh, you too, my darling, for all the work you're doing. It's all significant. Everything is significant.
Thank you. And to you.
Thank you, darling. So
Thank
much
you,
love.
darling Joy.
See you
Lots of love.
soon. Bye bye,
See you
Joy.
soon. Bye.